What do a cleaning robot, a butter-serving machine, and a convicted offender in the underworld have in common? They all teach us the most important truth of the universe. Together with Nietzsche, Hermann Hesse, and other great teachers, philosophers, and thinkers, I want to get to the bottom of the truth behind the episode Zima Blue from the series Love, Death, and Robots. The search for meaning is essential to human life. But what is this deeper meaning? Zima's pictures first show the search for this deeper meaning of existence. He could travel to any place in the universe. His eyes were modified so that he could see every imaginable spectrum. The existence of external reality revealed itself to him like no one else before.
And so he ventured forth to commune with the cosmos.
Zima realized that the cosmos already spoke with its own truth, far better than he ever could. What is this truth? More and more, Zima reveals his deepest soul life in his paintings until his painting depicts his soul life purely. But that's not enough. He even brings his soul life directly into the cosmos. But trying to get the inner cosmos into the outer cosmos is not what it's all about. Mother Teresa was once asked by a journalist what she said when she prayed to God. "I'm not saying anything," she replied. "I just listen." The journalist then asked what God said to her in prayer. "He says nothing," she replied. "He just listens." So Zima listens to the cosmos too, which speaks with its own truth. But what is the deep truth that Zima approaches and that he actually finds in the end?
At last, I understand the thing I sought through my art.
To extract some simple pleasure from the execution of a task well done, my search for truth is finished at last. I'm going home. Maybe you know this machine from Rick and Morty, a butter-serving machine. When it learns the purpose of its existence, it is seriously disappointed. Zima, who has found the truth, would tell it that the simple pleasure is to serve the butter well. The greatest art in life is to be fully absorbed in a simple task. Thich Nhat Hanh expresses this joy in a poem. Be a bud sitting quietly in the hedge. Be a smile, one part of wondrous existence. Stand here. There is no need to depart. This homeland is as beautiful as the homeland of our childhood. Do not harm it, please, and continue to sing. This poem is reminiscent of the three transformations that Nietzsche describes through Zarathustra, from camel to lion to child. In the process of truth and self-discovery, the camel represents the humble mind. The mind begins in the state of self-denial, contentment, obedience, and adaptability to adverse circumstances, like Zima, when he was still obedient to his task. The mind then becomes the lion, striving for freedom, sovereignty, and self-determination. He leans against the world and its condition. Nietzsche describes it as a holy no, even against duty. Like Zima, who expands his body to explore more and more places in the universe in search of the truth, or like the butter-serving machine, which has just learned its fate and plunges into deep disappointment. But the lion can only be destructive, not constructive. The spirit must become a child, a sacred yes saying, yes to the game of creation. Or as Thich Nhat Hanh said in the poem, "This homeland is as beautiful as the homeland of our childhood." Yes, to the game of creation, as Nietzsche put it. Master Eckhart said that the existence of created things is nothing other than becoming and passing away. Creation is thus not a completed act of the past, but a perpetual process. Creation takes place anew every moment. Aldous Huxley writes in his book, Doors of Perception, "I was seeing what Adam had seen on the morning of his creation, the miracle, moment by moment, of naked existence. In conscious awareness of the world, we perceive it as it is, in constant flow. Without judging, we realize that nothing is permanent. You cannot hold a sound longer than it exists. It emerges in consciousness and disappears again. You cannot hold on to a thought longer than it exists. It appears in consciousness and disappears again. So it is with all the contents of consciousness. To perceive this flow is mindfulness. True joy does not lie in the pursuit of more and more of something, but in the doing itself, in action, in the present moment. To do this consciously and with full attention. People tend to consider it miraculous when someone can walk on water or fly through the air. The real miracle to me, however, is not to walk on water or fly through the air, but to walk on the earth. Every day we have a part in a miracle that we do not recognize as such. A blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black curious eyes of a child, our own eyes. Everything is a miracle. Also, Siddhartha says in the novel of the same name by Hermann Hesse, "I do not seek to walk on water." Thich Nhat Hanh also speaks of a dissolution of the distinction between subject and object. When you drink a cup of tea, suddenly the apparent difference between the one who drinks and the tea that is drunk dissolves in the air. Drinking a cup of tea becomes a direct and wonderful experience in which there is no longer a distinction between subject and object. Pure happenings. Everything is easy and always will be. As Captain Peng poetically puts it in his book, for an infinitely short moment, Igor was neither a wave nor a particle. He sat on the carpet and was shocked to find he was happening. Now that he felt such a mighty gaze resting upon himself, he gradually dissolved. There was no one to look, but only looking itself. Fully in line with the flow of being, belonging to unity, agreeing with the flow of life. We have to imagine Sisyphus as a happy person, said Albert Camus. Happy in this one job, rolling the rock up the hill just to let it roll down again. We have to think of the butter serving machine as a happy machine, serving the butter in complete unity with its action. Life flows from one moment to another. The one moment has to pass before the new moment can fully unfold. Aliveness is never a standstill. It cannot be captured and conserved. Change and transformation are the beauty of life. Zima is like the camel at the beginning of his existence. He then becomes a lion through higher cognitive functions, expressing his existential crisis in art, and finally, he becomes a child again. The first thing I ever saw was my life as a small, simple machine that just managed to control itself. I finally understand what I've been looking for through my heart, to extract some simple pleasure from the execution of a task well done. My search for truth is finished at last. I'm going home.